It is, in my opinion, the best single days racing of the entire jump season. It's Festival Trials Day. Welcome to the Punters Guide as we're trying to point you into the direction of a few winners. But this weekend is also looking ahead to the Cheltenham Festival because I think it was last season, 3 horses that ran today went on to win on the greatest show in turf in March. Joel and Frankie are alongside me. It's not just Cheltenham, we've got some brilliant action over at Doncaster as well, Joel. Cannot wait for it to all get underway.
All comes at once, doesn't it? This weekend, fantastic, really, really, really good meeting. I wish I was going, but my kid's got a football tournament, and being dad of the year and everything, I've got to go to that. Frankie having no kids, obviously, he'll be going to Doncaster and Cheltenham via helicopter. I would have thought.
Well, he is a man that's heading to Presbury Park. How excited are you? And as I said at the top of the show, it's the best single days racing of the entire year. Is obviously outside of the festivals.
Yeah, it's a proper day. 8 races, all of them of quality. Even the handicaps are top class. It's a really, really good day's racing. And I love this meeting because it's a single day, like you said. It's not a Friday and a Saturday or even a Friday, Saturday, Sunday like November. It's one day, it's all class. You get a great crowd there, and it's the last one before the festival. So yeah, really excited to get there.
Yeah, 8 races then to get stuck into. Thanks for joining us as well. Don't forget you can listen to us. Take us everywhere you go as well on Spotify. Or subscribe to this channel and you get notified anytime there is a new episode of either the Punter's Guide or the Road to Cheltenham, which is aired every Monday. And by the way, this will be a very busy Monday reflecting on this weekend. That is for sure. There's some other brilliant racing outside of the ITV cameras as well. We'll look on them very briefly at the end of the show. But we're going to start with the 115. It's one of these 2.5 mile handicaps. It's the 17th edition this season, and it's all the regulars lining up as well. Hitman tops the weights. Garlaw's obviously won a Paddy Power. Il Ridotto, he's just a standing dish in these type of contests, isn't he? Brilliant start in front of the ITV cameras, Frankie.
It is, yeah. As you said, some usual suspects. Hitman's the one that when you mention that, you just think, God, that could go either way, couldn't it? He could throw in a good performance, but not backable for me in this anyway, despite Freddie taking off 5. I'm going to go with Excello, exciting horse. I've got the faith in the 5-year-old. I mean, he beat Solo nicely at Ascot. He only has to carry 10 stone 12. There is an element of unknown about him, but I'm willing to take that chance. The biggest worry is probably that he's never gone left-handed, but I think he's a really exciting young horse. And as I said, carrying 10, 12 in a race like this where there are plenty of those usual suspects that carry plenty of weight gives him every chance.
So then for Frankie, I'm surprised Victorino comes. He was entered Doncaster. I thought he'd have gone to the Great Yorkshire Joel, but he comes here for Charlie Deutsch and Venetia Williams. But that's just one chance amongst many in this.
Yeah,
I mean,
bit of money this morning for that one. I had it first of all between El Ridotto and Fugitive didn't go in this one. But probably controversial or politics or whatever it is. Bryony's been in the news quite a bit as of late about not getting the ride she deserves and everything. I put that up as the best losing ride on El Ridotto of the year last year. And I thought she'd have kept the ride on this. They've obviously given it to the best jockey in the country, unstable jockey, Harry Cobden. So therefore, I thought she'd be on Hitman. She's not. Freddie's on there taking off the claim. I don't get that. So therefore, I'm putting a cross next to that one. All right. I'm tied here. I'm tied here because I want to go with Hitman. I really, really do. There's 2 reasons why I think the horse has got so much talent and is arguably, possibly, the best horse in the race. It's one we put up at the start of the season a few years ago for saying this is one to watch. It's got to pop up at some point, but no weight on its back. And I think in a field of, we know what El Ridotto will do. It'll be there or thereabouts, but it's been well found in the market, 7-2. 3-1, it'll probably go off, something like that. So I'd take a little go on Hitman this weekend. This weekend, if you have a look at my selections, there's a lot of the last challenge, the last time. Come on. And if you see me putting on Mr. Coffee later, please shoot me.
He's been called some nasty names. You've added an S into his name a few times at the beginning, haven't you? But Hitman for Joel. What are you going to say about Victorino? Sorry, Frankie.
I think just maybe one run too many or one handicap too many. There's a few in here like that their mark's been rising. They've been picking up some bit of success in big handicaps, and maybe this is just one step too far in the weights. And as well, back to 2.5. I think he's won over 3, hasn't he? The last 2 times. Yeah, 3 miles at Ascot. Yeah, I can't quite understand it. Why dropping back to 2.5? Because he's a proper 3-mile chaser. He stayed on well to win at Ascot. It's a bit of a head scratcher. That I was wondering the same. Who knows? And as well, Venetia's had 2 in here, and Charlie does ride that. So you'd presume that is the one that's more well fancied out the two. So yeah, one that I can't understand. He looks like a proper 3 mile chaser. So why come to Cheltenham in a really competitive 2.5? I don't know.
I know Joel has eyes on the bottom weight with the jockey, Nicholas Gofinac. I know he loves his French jockeys, don't you, Joel?
Oh, they're great. I love it. I love it. Calling a cab at every single obstacle.
Right, let's look at the Cotswold Chase then. It is a Gold Cut trial, 6 go to post. I'm going to start with you, Joel. You said last chance saloon for your tips. Surely Ahoy Senor's not one of them this weekend, is he?
It is indeed. And it's one of the best bets of the weekend, right? I've been watching it. I love this racing this weekend. It's probably not a heavy betting session. But first of all, Royal Pagaille, that's a line through it straight away. A, because of the ground, and B, because Venetia's been very open about this is not the plan. We're going to go to Haydock. Doesn't like Cheltenham. If you watch it back, ran at Cheltenham 3 times. Midfield finishes all 3 times. I really like Stay Away Faye, but I'm keeping an eye on Nichols for the flu jabs and whatever. Real Whacker, we put up for the King George, or I did. Was beaten by 10 lengths, never looked happy, so that's on the recovery. So Ahoy Senor, I mean, you look at this. This is winning, you know, if you just look at the bare form. Pulled up at Newbury in December, pulled up at Wetherby in November, second in the entry bowl. I backed him that day and Shiskin did him. I stood next to Lydia Hislop in the winners enclosure watching this. I have never, ever heard the language come out of a lady's mouth. It was like something you'd see down a conservative club on a Friday in the 70s. Things about Shishkin. That day, jumped like a fridge, as we say, lost the shoe. Before that, fell in the Gold Cup. Now, you know, people keep talking about this horse being talented and everything. It can't jump. And the reason I'm giving it a final chance, because it is obviously very talented. Stephen Mulhern takes the ride for the first time, takes over from Dr. Fox. And Steve Mulqueen is a very, you know, he's not as experienced as Dr. Fox, but let's just say he might do it a little bit differently. Let's have a go. First time he's ridden in public on there, and it will be last chance saloon. It's been drifting all week. I'm sure it's going to go off 13-2, 7-1 or something like that. But Ahoy Senor for me with Steve Mulhern.
Yeah, he is giving it one last chance, and Ahoy Senor. Frankie, this is a race we were just talking about before recording. Was obviously something you still to decide. It's still one that's up in the air with you.
Yeah, really. I find this really tricky to be too confident on any. I think I'm putting a line through Royal Pagaille, so maybe that's your winner. But I think that's the first to go from a process of elimination. You actually watch the races that he won. He never seems to win a race in any sort of battle. He either wins on the bridle or not at all. And he's been 6th or 7th in loads of Gold Cups, but 20 plus lengths back. So I think he's gone. I don't think jump suits him. Stairway's got a lot to find on ratings. Obviously, a Bartlett winner has been good in his first 2 starts, but does have, you know, 12, 16 pounds to find with Real Whacker and Royal Pagaille. Ahoy Senor's too risky. So it is the Real Whacker. He's 3 from 4 and 3 from 3 on completion because was pulled up on that 4th. Wasn't awful in the King George, despite not looking happy. I'm worried he might get ran down late with the extra furlong, but in a race where I couldn't fancy loads, ticks a lot of boxes, doesn't he, with the course and distance form, or the course form anyway. And coming back here, I think he deserves his crack. And he's fairly priced, 92 or 5, something like that.
I just came down the Real Whacker as well. So he was beating 10 lengths to the King George, which it wasn't a bad run. I don't think he ever looked happy at Kempton, like Joel was kind of saying. So back at Cheltenham, where obviously he is 3 from 4, pulled up in the Paddy Power, back up to 3 miles. I'm going to give him a chance. You know, if Joey Colombo was in here, it'd be a short price favourite, and he beat him in the Brown Advisory. So I just came down the Real Whacker. Maybe this is his time of year to really get going. The Clarence House penalty kick. Frankie will start with this time. Penalty kick.
Yep, not too exciting, really, is it? I mean, I'm quite. The thing I'm most looking forward to is watching Elixir Donuts and Freddie Ginjal. If he was pinging him like he was at Newbury, just was great to watch. And I'm sure he'll be having a crack. But yeah, John Bond will go and win this, won't he?
Yeah, he should do. So if Frankie's looking forward to licking his nuts, Joel, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I'll be licking them too. Why not? Oh, tangy. Yeah, I was trying to find something interesting to say about this race. You can look for the distance bet, you can look for the forecast. But a little bit like the Gold Cup this year, it's you pretty much got the one winner, and then whatever finishes 2nd and 3rd. John Bond, James Bone takes over 1-3, and the horse has won 600 grand nearly of prize money. So you invest in good stock, you should get your returns. It's like we always say, it's always good for a little owner as well. Old JP McManus. Hopefully we'll see him do all right. So Nicky Henderson this weekend is having a nightmare with jockeys, isn't he? Nico de Boinville's been sitting there for months and he's not run anything. As soon as he leashes 50 horses this weekend, he can't find any jocks for him.
Yeah, having Cheltenham banned this weekend as well, Mr. Fujox. John Joel Jr. comes from Adam Nubeneg, whose brother won earlier in the week.
Hey, John, I just stay at home, mate.
This is probably for Monday's show, but I just wanted to put a flag before he runs. And I just want to see Fugitive run really well, which I think he will do, because all of a sudden the Ryanair is wide open. And around about 2025s, with Allaho now out and Staystar as favourite, I think if he runs well here, that is where he's going to go. And I think he never runs badly at Cheltenham, does he? We never see him run a bad race. I like to see him run well behind John Bon. Hopefully he doesn't win and then they go for the champion chase. But I expect him. I think he's just a Cheltenham horse, isn't he? I think the Ryanair's the target, and I think at a massive price each way. I like to see him run well. So that's I'd be taking out the Clarence House chase and just let John Bon go and win it. Right.
Second, fourth, first, Matt, at Cheltenham.
Yeah, exactly. It's over that 2.5 mile trip as well.
Look who's on again. The jockey in form, Gormless Gavin.
Yes.
Gorgeous, isn't it? Gorgeous Gavin, that's it.
Yeah, Jerry appreciates that. Right. The international hurdle then, obviously, brand new home, moved the December meeting to here on Trials Day. And all week, it was a case of William Mullins bingo until 10 o'clock on Thursday morning. And it was Lossiemouth that declared here. Paul Town under the option of Donny, but he's come to ride here. Not been seen, of course, he's winning at Punters Town. She's a Triumph Hurdle heroine. And it looks between the ladies, doesn't it, this one, Joel?
It very much does. And hopefully my right honourable friend, Mr. Frankie Foster, will agree with me on this one. Lossiemouth's first run of the season. What is she? Is she 5 from 6 or 6 from 7 or whatever? She's only beaten once when it was given a bizarre ride by Paul Town and we got stuck on the inside. Should be unbeaten so far. No, should be best horse in the race. However, I'm just looking at the first run of the season, her being a juvenile and whatever. I just think Love Envoi that myself and Frankie really fancied on the road to Cheltenham this week, and you get an 11-4 against 8-11 or 8-13 or whatever, and I would take the chance on that. It's purely a value bet, and you go back to that epic day at Cheltenham last year when I got the scares because when she came up to go and beat Honeysuckle, I thought it's going to happen. So I would just have a play on Love Envoy, on Envoi, which one we call it, and hopefully Frankie's going to agree with me if we're in the same camp.
Not sure I am, John.
Oh, cheers. Thanks, mate.
See that I obviously put up Love Envoy on the road to Cheltenham. I think she'll get very close to Lossiemouth, but this is 2 miles, good to soft, no more rain forecast. Conditions definitely suit Lossiemouth, whereas when we go to the festival, it'll be 2.5 miles, and we don't know what the ground will be, but I'll be praying for soft ground. So I just think this race, in comparison to the festival, plays more into Lossiemouth's strengths. But the reason I put up Love Envoy, I think she will get close, and she's tough. So she, in the closing stages, I think she will tighten the gap. And don't get me wrong, she's got every chance. She's won a Grade 2 at Cheltenham and second behind Honeysuckle in the Grade 1. So she's got every chance. But I think conditions just suit Lossiemouth on the day.
I know. What about Ruby? Calling for a taxi.
No. Let's put you through Derek Thompson, please. Is he available next Friday? What about Ruby? I know he's going to give a lot of weight away, but he's only defeated in the last 5. Was to Constitution Hill, Frankie. Come on.
I know he's hard to weigh up, though, isn't he? We haven't seen him in we have seen him in a proper race, but last time you don't get to find out too much about horses, do you, when they run behind Constitution Hill? It's a bit of a false race. So he is interesting. I don't know. Something that doesn't.
I think Burdett Road they were looking at this for Burdett Road, weren't they? But Harry Cobden obviously claimed to ride Rubo, so I think that's why they decided to go for the first race. He said it'd be really interesting off a low weight in here. Yeah,
he would. Yeah, fascinating horse. I mean, that first race, Cheltenham, I'm sure we'll speak about it, but that's a cracker as well, isn't it? I don't know. I can't really get my head around these juveniles, and we'll speak about some at Donny as well, or were juveniles. These younger horses, I can't really get. And I'm sure we will this weekend, get a grip on how good that Triumph form from last year was. And that'll give us pointers towards the festival. But obviously, Lossiemouth, Gala Marceau, how will they stack up against some of these slightly older horses that have also put in good performances last year? We'll find out. I think Lossiemouth is the real deal, and they seem to be a lot of chat about her the Irish are really strong, aren't they? And she does get conditions, but yeah, we'll find out.
We will. Right, let's move on to the Cleve hurdle. As good as a veterans hurdle, isn't it, this one? But tell you what, Joel, I think Paisley Park's got a chance of lifting a fourth Cleve hurdle here. And if it does, there'll have to be some restoration work before the festival because that roof is going to come off.
Yeah, well, it hasn't got a roof, has it? People keep saying the roof's got to come off. It hasn't actually got a roof. But if it did, it came off last time, if you remember. It came off on
Put it back on.
Yeah, stick it back on. Do you know what? I mean, this shows what we're like in this country, doesn't it? Now with our stayers. The interesting one for me has been Noble Yates. A lot of money from that for Emmett Mullins. I couldn't see that. I thought they were going for something else. You know, I thought they should just have a little day out. I've got one here, and it's the outside of the field. It was 25s this morning into 16. Flight deck for Deborah Cole and Chris Ward. And everyone's like, who's Deborah? Who's Deborah? Deborah Cole? Deborah Cole? Ashley Cole's daughter. So she waited about 20 years, didn't she? Do you remember the story? It was in the Racing Post. She waited 20 years in between winners. I think it was about 2021 or something like that. In the last 2 weeks, she's had 2 winners from two horses go to the course. It's a John Joe Castoff, was sold for $5,000. Now, every time I say watch back a race, I know 99% of people watching will not go back and watch it. Have a look at this one when it was 66-1 in Cheltenham in October. There was a false start, so they had to do that thing where they line up and it's a standing start. Missed the break, and it was a muddling pace. And for about the 9th, he kicked clear, did Chris Ward. He went to odds on in running at that point and was headed, getting really tired on the running. It was only beaten 3 lengths at 66-1. The jocks behind panicked. And then was only 2 lengths behind Paisley Park and Dashel Drasher, getting, I think it was £6 from those two. Same again here today. Flight deck, honestly, because you don't know the trainer, you don't know the owner, you don't know the jock. It's worth watching, and she's 100% 2 from 2. She's only got a handful of horses, and you know it's a load of old doddery fellas as well in that race, and not the jocks but the horses. I'd love Paisley Park to win, but it's about making the money. And Flight deck, I know we're only getting 2 places. That can take my money this weekend at a huge price.
Great shout, John.
Love half of what he's on, Frankie.
I'm a big fan of that. You don't often see a trainer's name with 100% strike rate next to it, do you? 2 from 2. And I was just checking, Joel, when you said getting £6, got £6 from Paisley Park, but not from Dashel Drasher on that day at Newbury, and now get £6 from the pair of them. So a bit in hand off.
Are we in? Are we in here?
With Dashel. It could be, Joe. It could be. With the pair of you, Paisley's got every chance to go and win, hasn't he? And I wonder, what would they retire him, or would they go to the festival? I don't think he's good enough to go and win at the festival, is he? But this is a weak Cleve hurdle, and could he win and retire? I think they might.
No, because you've got to go. Because I mean, Emma keeps saying in every interview, he'll tell us when he's had enough.
Oh, yeah.
After the Cleve hurdle, he'll be there. Have you had enough? No, I want to go again. That wasn't Emma, by the way. That was the horse.
Yeah, I think he can, Matt. I think he can. He's ran really well both runs this season. He's been so close, hasn't he? And I suppose if there was ever a place that he would just get his nose in front, because he's just been chinned both times, then it would have to be Cheltenham in the Cleve hurdle. And it's not the strongest running, but gotta say, some shout for Flight deck. And as an each way player, that's probably the betting way.
There are 3 places on that one as well, extra place. Well worth
I like that.
The price he is. Let's talk him into it. Right, let's move to Town Moor then, shall we? Good card at Doncaster, as we say. There's some brilliant race on the undercard, but we'll just talk about the IT races for now and touch on the rest later. You just touched on it, Frankie, so I'll start with you. Last year's juvenile form, Gala Marceau, brings that here. Not been seen since Bolton up at Autois. What he's got 2, though, Ash Road Diamond, who missed last year's festival, and they've always thought very highly of her.
Yeah, do we have another ding dong with Patrick and Danny Mullins? Because it looks like a 2-horse race. It's a long way home at Donny, and it will definitely be tactical, I think. So the boys are going head to head again. I'm going to go with Ash Road Diamond. I think, like you said, just because they've always thought highly of her. I mean, they thought highly enough of her to stick her in the Hatton's Grace. She's a very good horse, clearly. A little bit older than Gala Marceau. and I know it's 2 miles. They'd probably both be better over 2.5, to be fair. And I'm kind of giving her the nod off of reputation, like you said, what they've always thought of her, and the fact that first start this season came in the Hatton's Grace. So the favourite for me, but proper race.
Joel?
I was just interesting to find out what was the name of the course that's Gala Marceau run out in France.
Orteil.
Oh, no. Oh, right, okay. You said it in 3 different. Yeah.
It's like Sutherland Southwell. Just
Yeah, no,
just vary it, and then you don't offend everybody all the time.
I know. Still playing like Artois, whatever you said. You know, I'm leaving the 2 Mullins lads alone. Let them fight it out. The cousins. I can't get the betting right because one started really short odds on, then they flipped, and they're evening out a bit now. And if you look at different sites, the different prices. So I'm thinking, look, just sitting there behind is under control. I think that Iberico load form at Sandown is strong, beating half a length there. And then I think it was early December, wasn't it, at Newbury? Just ran too bad to be true. Vet found nothing wrong. I'm very forgiving this weekend, as you know, hoisting your style. So I just put a line through that last one. Just put it down to a cold, bad day at the office, whatever it was. And I'd have a go. It's under control, and let Mullin and Mullin's cousins just smash each other up.
She has had a wind up since Jerry Fielden, which may suggest there was something slightly amiss, maybe. So, yeah, maybe better from under control. Right. One race that I can never get right because it always provides a shock is the River Don 3 Mile and Albert Bartlett Trial. But a few weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, we were all with Kerry Hill at Cheltenham in December. Are we with him again and give him another chance, Joel?
It was a hard one. No, it's a hard one to get my head around this. I jumped off the Kerry Hill bandwagon here. Not Kerry Hill. Yeah, Kerry Hill, that's right. I'm thinking of Kerry, what's her face? When it's deep ground. Kerry
Turner.
That's the one, yeah. I'm going with Destroy the Evidence here. And a lot of people are saying, look, Kim Bailey has massively been out of form. Had a welcome winner as of late. It's around 4-1. And I think David Bass suits this so bad. Will just go off and smash him. And when David Bass is in that rhythm, I think he'll just go for it. It was second to is it Chennai Bob at Cheltenham. And all I put down here is that Bass here just to smash from the front and keep on going. And it's a strong fancy for me this weekend. Really strong.
Frankie, you concur? Are you elsewhere?
I concur. Yes. Big fan actually of Destroy the Evidence. Was only been beaten by Butch and Shanno Bob, and they're both very good horses. And bar that, has won 2 races over 3 miles. As you said, Joel, proper tough stayer. He's battle hardened. Maybe 2 battle hardens the only way. It's 5th round of the season. They've all been tough races, but he seems to be a horse that loves it, and he's tough and he'll stay. And like you said, Bassi on board. Proper horse and deserves every chance, especially over. I definitely have him over the more unexposed Paul Nicholls horse at the top of the market anyway. You know what you're getting with Destroy the Evidence.
You certainly do. Right. The big betting race then is the Great Yorkshire Chase. Now, nobody really knows how magic works, and nobody really knows how Christian Williams gets his horses so well handicapped. It is an incredible feat for Cap du Nord, having his 4th start. He's been placing every single one of the last 3 renewals of the Great Yorkshire Chase, and he's in here as an 11-year-old off his lowest ever mark. It's pretty sensational, and he must have every chance. It's like he's got the one target every year. Joel, I'm going to start with you because it's Lange-Dan-esque.
Yeah. I don't know what you expect me to say. It's genius, but also how they're going to get away with it. I love it because I like Christian Williams as a trainer. You know what you're doing. And if you've been on at 25-1 earlier in the week or 20-1 or something, you have got to watch the market. And I'm not sure if the horse looks at the Racing Post in the morning, looks at the tissue price, and then gets onto the Betfred app or whatever and has a look what price he is. He tends to run a lot better when he's off a lower mark at this course and in a single figure price. I don't know what else.
The application of cash.
The application of cash, the Betfred application, I'm already in. I'm in at 10s. I missed the bigger prices because I was waiting for the market to retake shape. And I got it down to 2 in here. And one of them you couldn't have on form, but you know, it runs really well in the race, is Captain Ord. And the other one, which I could not back, was Stolen Money, but something is saying to me, come on, Joel, come on, just one more, is Mr. Coffee. You know where and you're going, right, there's a big one in it, but it just finds one too good, a bit like I right.
Look, I ain't that shame when the Thyestes when I would squad to stick with him because he was due one at Mr. Coffee. You're right, he's never yet to win over fences, and yet
Daryl's on, right? Daryl's now having a go because again, and Gully Jock is
next.
Well, we said this before, didn't we, about Mr. Coffee? He loves coming second, and a 10-1 second is not the worst bet in the world, is it? So
yeah, I mean that's all right. And I don't know if Daryl's ridden him before. I'm just having a look, but Daryl's having a good time of it at the minute. I mean, it shouldn't make a lot of difference. You know, you could have whoever it is on there, but it ain't gonna make it run any faster. We'll go odds on him running about a furlong out, and we'll just probably get chins by Captain Ord. So there is the forecast. Do you know what? I might have well reverse that as well. All right, here we are. Forecast.
The one horse to beat Captain Ord when he's off is Mr. Coffee.
Mr. Coffee.
Never won a race.
Imagine the scenes. Frankie, I want to just mention Sail Away as well because I thought he ran okay here 6 weeks ago, but they didn't jump any of the fences in the straight, and I thought that may have hindered him. He's been dropped a couple of pounds. I know you liked him for that race. Would you give him an each way squeak here as well?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure he was putting a Yankee that day, and you know when you kind of flick on and you realise that they're barely jumping any fences and just go, oh no, it's game over, because he is a good jumper. That is one of his assets, and yeah, definitely wasn't a true running of the race, and I really fancied him before that, so there's no reason why I don't fancy him again. And yeah, dropped a couple of pounds, so I would give Sail Away an each way chance. Can Do Kid's quite interesting, stepped up in trip as well, I think. Ran a good race behind Jello or JLo, who keeps on improving for Venetia Williams, and yeah, stepped up in trip. Can Do Kid, I think it's quite interesting at, I think, double figure prices. And then, as we've all mentioned, Captain Ord, if he is good enough as an 11-year-old, this is his best time to do it, and he gets his ground. He's best on better ground, so good ground forecast.
Right, let's just wrap everything else then away from the ITV cameras because your new love affair, Frankie, Jericho de Repenay's running at Doncaster, Road as well, a Triumph Hurdle favourite. And there's a massive word going around still, has been all season, impressive at you, but on Gidley Park in the last. He's very short for the grade 2. I mean, there's still some stellar names away from the cameras this weekend.
There's some proper horses, isn't there? Proper speedsters as well. A lot of 2-mile hurdlers that are, you know, they're exciting to watch, aren't they? Like your Burdett Road, the way he tanked up the hill. The market's been interesting following that. So Gino's been, I think, fairly well spotted, or it was the last time I looked, which surprised me. I wonder, is that just, you know, Henderson trained, Donnelly colours, recency bias as well with winning more recently, and the two horses behind, I think, have won. So maybe that's playing into it. I don't know, or maybe it is as good as what people think it is. But for me, there hasn't been many better performances from a young hurdler than Burdett Road coming up the hill earlier in the season. So I think I'm with Burdett Road. You know, I'm with Jericho de Repenay. I'll be keeping on screaming him home until the Supreme because I'm sat on a nice bet there. And then Gidley Park, Johnny Who.
Yeah, Johnny Who.
Yeah. What do we think of that?
I've backed it already at 5-1. Johnny Who in this. I'm not on best odds guaranteed.
Out of the three you mentioned there, Matt, Gidley Park would be the one I'd try and take on, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Johnny Who, was it fourth in the shallow? Beat a couple of lengths. Captain Teague won that. Another chance. I was expecting. I know all the talk is for the Gidley Park, but Johnny Who, I mean, you can even back it each way, but you can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are you doing extra place in this race, Matt?
No.
Can I have one?
Just for you, as you asked. No.
Right, yeah. I'll be honest with you. I've had 20 quid on Johnny Who at 5-1. And I thought, out of all the shorties this weekend, this is the hype horse, and this is the one to take on.
Yeah, it's a good race, isn't it? Is it?
Brilliant race. There's not a bad race, is there, this weekend, especially at Cheltenham. I wish I was going now, to be fair.
Johnny Who will go to the Barler though, right, Matt?
I believe so, yeah. I believe so. The way he stayed in the Challow, so I was quite surprised he comes here.
Well, do you think it's just, I mean, it's obviously going to Cheltenham, maybe not quite as testing as if you were to run in a 3-miler?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe. Even if you come second to Gidley Park, who's...
Yeah. Nothing lost. Yeah, it's another go around Cheltenham without getting into a ding-dong over 3 miles.
Yeah. Right. think that's wrapped everything up. Naps time. We'll start with you, Mr. Foster. What's the best bet on a brilliant day's racing?
I'm gonna go. Is this the first one we talked about? Yeah, it is. Excello in that handicap chase. Just really exciting. I liked his performance at Ascot. He gets a bit of weight because he's a youngster in a field of not old handicappers, but they're carrying enough weight, some of them, and he gets the nod. He's exciting.
Okay, Excello then, the youngster. What about you, Joel?
Do I go for, because Bumpety Bump's been on,
Oh,
do I go for...
Get that quiet.
Well, the thing is, I only want to pass it on if I believe in it. There's a really hot bumper at Fairy House tomorrow, and do you know what? I've not even looked at it, to be fair. But it's Thomas Mullins' horse in there. I think they paid about five grand for it. All I got told was it's better than the price tag suggests. But it's a hot race. It's first time out tomorrow, and apparently there's quite a lot of horse in there that have run already a few times. I don't even know what it's called, so I wouldn't. This time of year,
I was waiting for that.
Who? River.
I don't know. Is it? I'll have a look.
Yeah.
Whatever Thomas Mullins has got, that costs5 grand.
Coral River, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right, it did cost 5 grand, yeah.
That's all I've got. Apparently they got a bargain for it. It's half decent. And there's a lot of dead wood in there that's already run. So keep an eye on that. No, I'm going with your extra place at Betfred, because I haven't seen anywhere else do this yet. And I didn't know about it till I came on here. 335 Flight Deck for Deborah Cole and Chris Ward. Can I have each way? At what current price are you? Could you find one for me?
Yeah, about 14s, I think, 14, 16.
Yeah, 14.
Great shout. 3 places.
Three places. I cannot see it being out of 3. And you think Chris Ward is just gonna, right? If it gets messy, he will just kick. And it is really worth watching that run at Cheltenham at 66-1 when he probably gonna win and just got really tired at the end. So yeah, Flight Deck.
Joel Ross to spoil the Paisley Park party.
I'm not being funny. That spoiled my party. It spoiled me like the weekend last time when it came second. So I know it was.
Interesting. Yeah,
What about you, Matthew? What's John Joe Jr. ride into this weekend?
Well, he's not. Well, our very own horse is running Monday, so hopefully he's fit and well, ready to ride him at Hereford on Monday at 3 o'clock. So looking forward to that. There's a couple that I like. Nothing. It's one of them days where I only got stuck. I just want to sit back, enjoy it, and think about obviously lots of festival clues. The 1240 Cheltenham's a race I've always loved, the novice handicap. I had a bit of joy in it as well. Real hot race this year. About blow your wad when he won at Kempton. Obviously, Ginny's Destiny's beating Grey Dawning. But I was at Ludlow and Tighten Our Belts won. It looked like he had a big future. He's running graded race. I mean, he didn't stand a chance against LA Francais and Hermes Allen last time out when they went so fast. But I think he's a decent chaser and I think he's handicapped to go well. So Tighten Our Belts are like in the 1240. But Paddy Brennan goes to Donny for just 2 rides. He's got punctuation in the handicap hurdle, but he stays there for the 4-time seeking Young Buster in the last. He's run pretty easily the last couple of times. So I thought that was interesting as well. Young Buster in the last at Donny. But yeah, Tighten Our Belts 12-foot. In a race where, a day where I'm just probably going to keep the powder a little bit drier than you would normally and just sit back, enjoy it, and obviously think about the festival ahead. Right, cheers to Frankie, cheers to Joel. Fingers crossed their bets go well. Join us Monday because we'll reflect on all the action because there'll be so many festival clues and pointers this weekend. Wherever you're back in, as always, please gamble responsibly and the very best of them.